This investigation started with a traffic stop by a uniformed officer. As a result of that, a 20-year-old man was charged with various firearms offenses and later released on an ankle bracelet. As a result of that arrest, my team initiated a follow-up investigation. During this investigation, associates of the first suspect were identified, and evidence was obtained that led investigators to believe that they were involved in firearms and drug trafficking. Search warrants were obtained and executed at 3 residences in Brampton, 1 residence in Waterloo, and 1 storage facility within Caledon. The results of those search warrants were the seizure of 11 firearms, including assault rifles, handguns, and a submachine gun, which is displayed here, approximately 900 rounds of ammunition, 85 prohibited devices, including Glock selector switches, which, as the Chief mentioned, can transform a semi-automatic handgun to fully automatic, and high-capacity drum magazines. Approximately 200 grams of cocaine was seized with an estimated street value of $20,000, 20 grams of opium, 80 oxycodone pills, and 100 other unknown pills that were sent for testing. 5 subjects were arrested and have been charged with various offenses. Navdeep Nagra, 20 years old, of Brampton, has been charged with 11 counts of unauthorized possession of a firearm, 8 counts of possession of a loaded firearm, 84 counts of possession of a prohibited device, and 2 counts of failing to comply with a release order. He was held pending a bail hearing. Ravneet Nagra, 22-year-old, of Brampton, has been charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm, possession of a loaded firearm, and possession of a prohibited device. He was released with a future court date. Narinder Nagra, 61 years, of Brampton, is charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm, possession of a loaded firearm, and possession of a prohibited device. She was released with a future court date. Ranveer Erich, 20 years old, of Brampton, has been charged with 9 counts of unauthorized possession of a firearm, 6 counts of possession of a loaded firearm, 30 counts of possession of a prohibited device, and possession of property obtained by crime. He was held in custody pending a bail hearing. Pavneet Nahal, 21 years old, of Brampton, has been charged with 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking and failed to comply with a release order. He has been released with a future court date. At this time, we have received the tracing reports back for the seized firearms, which show that 4 originated in the United States, 5 originated in Canada, 2 of which were stolen, and 2 could not be traced due to serial number issues.
Project Sledgehammer is a clear example of how proactive policing combined with expert investigation can have a significant impact. From a single traffic stop, we've witnessed a thorough investigation that led to the removal of 11 firearms, prohibited magazines, and a large quantity of dangerous drugs from our streets. These items, if left unchecked, could have fueled violent crimes like carjackings, home invasions, and shootings. I want to express my deepest gratitude on behalf of the board to the officers and investigators who played a role in this operation. The Peel Police Services Board stands with you, is proud to work with you day by day to protect the residents of our region. Public safety is our foremost priority. The increase in illegal firearm seizures this year, as the deputy said, 87%. 87% over last year, illustrates both the scale of the challenges that we face and the effectiveness of the resources that we are bringing to bear to deal with it.
We are all the same family. It is 2 brothers and a mother. As far as I know, the brothers were born in Canada. I can't comment on the mother. I don't have that information in front of me. 2 remain in custody. The one brother, Navdeep Nagra, remains in custody. The other subject, RH, he remains in custody. 2 were released from court after their bail hearing, and 1 was released on the day of on an undertaking.
An 80% rise in gun violence here in Peel Region is obviously very concerning and alarming. I know we're seeing it in Toronto and other areas of the GTA. Is there any theory, working theory, like why are we seeing gun violence rise so significantly? Is gang activity picking up? What is going on here?
Yeah, Shauna, thank you for the question. So, the easiest answer is the availability of firearms has increased. And I think that was our key point being is if you go back 10 years and you ask investigators that were in this space about the ability for a criminal to seek and access a firearm, it was doable, but it required a little bit of work. The availability of firearms has just saturated the community. So, we're seeing people getting stopped for impaired driving, having a firearm in their possession. The firearms are being seized sometimes like as a secondary activity of the investigative efforts. Just the availability of them means that you can access it quicker. Accessing it quicker means there are more incidents of shootings. Disputes or criminal activity make it more readily available. The second piece is we're seeing things like today, the Glock switches. The more amount of rounds being discharged is also increased per incident. So it's compounded by that. You cannot be beside the largest border where in some states you can have permitless concealed carry, and then hear us try to negate the amount of firearms on the streets. It's sheer volume.
During your investigation, what have you found that where were they heading to? Where were they sending those arms and ammunition? As per the investigation, what's the update on that?
Well, thank you for that question. The reality is a large percentage of arms that are smuggled into the U.S., because that's generally where they come from. The chief mentioned 90% of illegal handguns that we trace find their origins in the U.S. And just by virtue of demographics, logistics, and really attractiveness for organized crime, they end up landing in like large municipal hubs, very similar to the GTA. So, we have them destined for the GTA and other densely populated areas because it's, again, a big consumer base for them. And just really quickly, I think the important piece about that is to show that we have organized crime that doesn't reside here in Canada that is targeting our communities for profit. And this is why you also reference traffic stops and like the traditional policing. That is so important that we continue that and that we appropriately resource our frontline folks to be the first line of defense from organized crime that really exists elsewhere, not just in the country, but outside of our country.